today to have the national treasure, Professor Mogobe Ramose. I have a lot of admiration for this gentleman, and I'm truly honored to be sharing time and space with him today. Professor Ramose is a prolific author. We've got some of his books displayed on the table. He's a philosopher and deals with issues of philosophy, of law, African philosophy, and is also known as the Godfather of Ubuntu. Prof, thank you for being here.
Good afternoon, and thanks very much, Mandisa, for the invitation. I appreciate.
Yeah, I'm super glad that you agreed to come.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shall we kick off with you giving us a brief overview for those that don't know you of who you are, how you came to be here?
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I am sure I have to start where everybody has to start there. I came into this world without my consent.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. I was watching, these things that happen now really are seriously work at times. I was watching this lady who is apparently an activist for babies. She's a grown-up. But her protest, she's signing up a whole lot of children because she's like, these people made you without your consent and you can sue them. And she's lobbying for laws to be changed to enable her to do that successfully. So I hope you're not there. You're just mentioning it because it's true. None of us choose.
Yes, none of us chooses. Not even the lady who's campaigning actually chose to be in this world. There is no possibility for prior consent.
Yeah.
Because if you can choose to come, then of course you will choose your parents as well.
But you see, I was going to say that, there are some spiritual beliefs that suggest that if anything, it's the parent who have a right to complain because the children apparently choose us and we're just a vehicle. We're a conveyor belt for them to be here. They choose us. They decide what lessons they need to have in life. And then they choose who the most appropriate parent is to enable them to go on that journey.
Oh, I'm wondering. It's a good point, although it seems to clash with the point of Ken Saro-Wiwa in his novel. He's actually very explicit with his statement that parents cannot choose their children. And I found it a bit incomplete. And so I thought I should say, even children cannot choose their parents. And so in that way, when you elevate it to the spiritual domain, well, it means we have entered the area of metaphysics. And that's exactly the point I want to make, that there is no metaphysical marketplace for parents where children go to shop around and then and the other way around, where parents shop around and then they decide this will be my kid. No such possibility. Metaphysically speaking, it's impossible. Practically, it is also not possible. So that's exactly my starting point, that you see, I didn't choose to be in this world and particularly to emerge into this world in Attridgeville. So I grew up in Attridgeville under a lot of influences. One is that our maternal grandparents were staying about 5 houses away from us. So that's not very far. And both Granny and her husband were, I don't like the term traditional healer, but especially traditional, because of the overladen problems around that. So for convenience and being simple, I will compromise and say they were both traditional
Educate
healers.
us as well, because we tend to not know these things. We just catch these things. We know it's a traditional healer. What would you have us refer to them as if you had a choice, if you weren't trying to accommodate us?
Oh, yeah, sure. If I were not to accommodate you at all, then I would use two expressions. I would say they are healers and seers, like people who see. That, I think, would be more satisfactory for me. They were healers and seers.
Yeah.
It is also important for me to mention, I believe, in terms of this initial phase of my life, that our granny also worked. Like so many grannies at the time, they had to be domestic workers. And so she was working for a Scottish immigrant priest. And it looks like the priest could not resist the sting of desire. I think Michel Foucault was correct that, the sting of desire is available even to the mad people. And what more about sober people? So, in the end,
Even
our
Eugene
granny gave
Terreblanche
birth.
can
Pardon?
testify to that. I'm saying even Eugene Terreblanche.
Exactly. You see, there is no way. So the poor priest yielded, and our granny delivered a firstborn son from the priest, and it looked like the priest was not quite satisfied. He wanted a royal gift from our granny. So he tried again and was delivered with a baby girl. And so it looks like now that was a perfect situation. And so, but you see, like, was it Jefferson who, with Sally Oaks, had so many, she was a slave, but at the same time, you see, of course, you can take that back to Abraham. Shame. Anyway, I'm not saying shame in a moral sense. I'm saying shame, dismissing the lies. Yes. You see.
Indeed.
So that means that later on, when our granny got married to this man, Wamuzulu, then that's where my mother starts. And so she's the firstborn of a Zulu man and a Ndebele woman. But you see, already she has a brother and a sister. So they also had children. And because we were so close to one another, we went, played with our cousins, enjoyed ourselves, slept by granny whenever we liked to sleep there. And what puzzled us was going to school. When school time came, then we parted ways. They took a taxi or a bus to Marabastad. And we walked down to St. Anne's School, Roman Catholic school. So as little children, we get curious. Why We play together, we sleep together, we speak the same language, Kasi. So what's wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know. They are coloreds.
Yeah.
They are coloreds. We are young, singabantwana, colored into what?
Yeah.
That pastor say, "Hi, man. Colored at school, young, so we were going, was taking them drawing books.
Yeah.
And then we were proud when the teacher came round the desk, and then we showed them, teacher, please, mistress, come to see how I colored.
Yeah.
But you see, you mix brown, yellow, blue, green on a blank white sheet.
Yeah.
Now our puzzle was, what was their original color, Kebona, before they were colored? Yeah, that was one of the interesting puzzles as we grew up, because we played around, and there were others in the same street. Nabo, they were called colors, but they were going to that place. Yeah, ne? And then, a granny, having met a priest like that, was also seriously Christian. But seriously Christian? Yet a seer and a healer, and the priest must have told her, this is superstition.
Yeah.
So how does she balance this, Mara? You
Adventurous go that one.
seriously. Smile, we are wondering, can't you go njani na? Hey, and because she was wearing this, for every Thursday, they would come and pray by her. Yeah. Sometimes they go to pray. You see, the members of the church, Amanyano, something like that. Hey, yeah, they go pray from every Thursday. And of course, as you was talking, because you bring them up, you find that they what was puzzling me was, I never heard her call her husband Muhaydin. And her husband was not least interested in Christian matters. But somehow, no.
Yeah.
No, never.
No, she was ahead of her times. These days, we need frameworks like VUCA to be able to deal with ambiguity and complexity. She did it naturally.
Really, it doesn't come naturally. Yeah, no. I think in that case, I grant my granny some foresight, serious good foresight. When our mother was approaching a marriage point, then the parish priest of the Roman Catholic Church told him, yes, you can get married, but your future husband must agree beforehand that the children will be Roman Catholics. So that's how I went into a Catholic school and also into a Catholic educational trajectory. Then when I told my parents, I want to be a priest. Mom, who was the only Catholic, because our dad was Anglican, we objected. Oh, you object? I went on strike. Hunger strike. I must be.
Yeah.
So our father was quite a silent, tactful gentleman. So I think he finally persuaded her. But you can see, leave him. He must see for himself.
Yeah.
Just leave him to go. He must see for himself. He will take decisions. Just leave him. So, finally, I was allowed to go to the seminary. Yeah. And then I was thinking, years later, when I thought of this, I was, you know, my father was actually a detective in those days, you know, the Kunema CID, Criminal Investigation Department. So he was a detective, and that was that. And I don't think he ever read Jean-Paul Sartre.
This is when you know that children are just something else. He brings you up, he exposes you to all of these things, and now you use it against him.
No, in fact, this time I use it in his favor, because I swear I started studying Jean-Paul Sartre. I realized one of his major theses is, well, in his language, okay?
Yeah.
Man is condemned to freedom.
Yeah.
So our father was saying, he's condemned to freedom, leave him to go. But he hadn't read Jean-Paul Sartre. What a happy coincidence.
Yeah.
That I
You
see.
seem to have a lot of that in your family. First it was your granny who understood VUCA without the term being
Exactly.
And now you're...
Now it is Jean-Paul Sartre, you see. So, okay, it went on like that, and I met so many good teachers again, among them Madikwe Thomas Mantata. And we became lifelong friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that already ignited my interest in politics. Yes.
Yeah, I was
Seriously.
wondering how on earth you moved from that to being exiled. It's like heaven.
Exactly.
Now we get to it.
Exactly. So that's when I meet Mantata, and well, generally I'm a quiet person like my dad. So when we moved from St. Michael's to St. Paul's, then there were more priests. But the rector was still a black rector, Father David Mwetapi. And then there were...
Talk about living up to your name, Mwetapi.
Mwetapi. Exactly. Oh, yeah. No, he was really quite someone. And then there were also white priests now. And years later, he tells me, hey, you put me in trouble. I said, why? What did I do? He said, no. One of the white priests was urging that we should expel you. Why? No, you are too quiet, he said. What are you thinking? You either in the library...
Too much silence.
Too much quiet. He said, we hear this guy only in class. And then during the time when we must play, he plays. Yeah. Otherwise, he's in the library. Why is he so quiet? And then he must go. So, well, luckily Father David used the usual rules. Did we find him with a girl or a girl's letter? No. Did we? So what? No, he's fine if he's quiet. You see? So I think I guess silence is a big speech that many people cannot cope with. Yeah. I began reading about saints, reading about this and that. Yeah, reading now the politics of the country, Ubuntu investment, about this and that. Ethics is out of joint here. I don't think I want to pursue this story of being a Catholic priest. No. Right? oh, we were going for retreats, this and that, and you had a spiritual director. So I told Father David and Father Synod, I'm going to leave. Why? I think I won't stand it. To stand by a pulpit, tell people this is the way you should be good, and I would do the opposite. Then I'm impelampe. Yeah, I'm not impelampe. Yeah. So I want to be an ordinary sinner. That's why I want to go. I want to be an ordinary sinner.
Serious commitment to yourself.
Exactly. No, not make big promises in JI, no. So finally, I won the game. I left. But then, because of a lifelong friendship, Nobo Mantata, that is the one who introduced me to Wontateko, this and that. Ramaphosa, I saw him already go Chiawelo when he was still young. You see? But yeah, then, it became that way. Yeah. Too much in politics. That's how I got to meet your father also. Yeah. Yeah. In that we had our preso thing again. It was a bit of an issue because we were busy with community work, and then SASO enthusiasts came and would say, now, can we do something? We said, but you're going back. You're coming here on holiday. These things must be sustained. After university holiday, you go back, and what? So please, after lots of discussion, we said, okay. But anyway, they left. Now the expectations of the people were very high. Yeah. Because some of the people, were at the medical school, and they were able to help with so now they went back. Yeah. And so we had, it was quite something. Yeah, very, very hot. Very hot politically. And what we were doing was sharing. Yeah. Yeah. If you, that's where these people found us. If you were, for example, doing matric maths, you were supposed to teach those who were doing maths or JC. The junior, and so so it was sharing, sort of. We were working like that, and when the people left, where is the money? That was part of our answer. We are the money ourselves. Yeah. If we can make sure that this one who's doing that can help there, that is our money. We don't need to be bothered. These donors have got all kinds of strings attached. So let us do it this way. Things got hot because we were operating in Mamelodi and Mabopane. And we were then attending SASO, BPC conferences. The politics at the time was very hot. I remember that black theology was one of, because we Christianized, you see. So, but you see, there were some whites who also wanted to be part of this, as if they did not understand the breakaway from New SARS. So because they came in the name of the Lord, So anyway, they stuck it. But I was quite amused by their determination.
But I'm going to ask you to quickly, because you mentioned it. I'm sure MK doesn't know what you're talking about when you say the break from NUSAS to SASO. Just briefly, quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So they can understand what the similarities are that you are doing. Am I lying, MK? You laughing? I know I'm not lying.
Yeah, NUSAS in full stands for National Union of South African Students. So, national, you see? So, it means it takes black, white, yellow, and blue, as long as you are a student, okay? And that was the situation. Of course, a kind of the national part of it is a repeat of the African National Congress. You see, anyway, there we were. But within that grouping, our experiences were not the same. No, we didn't experience this country in the same way. We didn't understand it in the same way. So when they were moving like our fathers to guide us, we resisted. We don't need guidance. We know who we are and we know what we want. No guidance, but discussion, yes, but no guidance. Because they were insisting, then there was a breakaway. And that's when the South African Students' Organization was formed, SASO, in 1968. You see?
Just mention some of the big names they may be familiar with.
Oh, yeah, I guess they would be familiar, for example, with Steve Biko.
Yeah.
Yes, they would be familiar with Ranwezi Nengwekulu. You see? Abo Bani Pitana.
Yeah.
That's right.
Great.
So
So when you talk about that break from NUSAS to SASO, and then you talk about it in the context of black theologians, I just wanted it to be clear what you're actually
yes,
communicating.
exactly, because another black theologian who was buried recently was Farisani.
Yeah.
Reverend Farisani was also very active as a black theologian in the SASO circles, and later, because SASO was students,
Yeah.
then the thinking was, no, we shouldn't limit the struggle for justice in this country to students. So let us form the Black People's Convention.
Yeah.
And there you had people like Bokeni Rachidi, you see, Bo Makware was also, you see, so it expanded in that way. You could have dual membership if you wished.
Yeah.
You see, and so it was, and we continued to do that. Lots of things one can tell about what we did in Mamelodi, and what is important is that, you know, the people really became conscious.
Yeah.
Because we decided we are not going to be teachers for the sake of making our people better tools of the oppressor. So we used the pedagogy of the oppressed, of Paulo Freire, and we used to discuss our findings in the evenings when we were experimenting on it.
Yeah.
And so it became an entrenched pedagogy for us.
Yeah.
Now, it so enlightened the community that there was clear sign that, hey, there is here a spirit. If we don't nip it in the bud, there will be trouble.
Yeah.
So then the people were intimidated by the security police. In those days, we called them SB. Yeah, and there was Bureau of State Security. Vandenberg was, So, yeah, it got rather hot. And so...
One of the things I'd like you to get to at some point, we'll get back to where you're at.
Yeah.
Don't lose your train of thought. Is all of that work that you did. I mean, if I look at where we are in South Africa today, if I look at where we are as black people, we've lost all of that education that you expended all the time.
Right.
Effort for that made things better, for people. I'm not sure why it wasn't continued, and that's something I'd like you to deal with at some point. But let's get back to this, and then you tell us how you got to be exiled.
Yes. Yes. So that's why I'm saying it got hotter and hotter. So we went in 1974 to one of the conferences of SASO, BPC at St. Peter's in Hammanskraal. And that's where the debate one of the highlights of the debates there was the expulsion of Tembasono. And well, in between, out of heaven's blue, a friend told me, oh, you know, I have a scholarship, but it's for 2 people. I think I've known you long enough to ask you to please go with me. The scholarship is for Belgium. Would you consider that? And I said, yes, I would consider. So it was good. It was during conference time. Yeah. So I discussed with the people. I said, look, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest fire is here. Yeah. I know that there is a connection between what we are fighting here and what is happening there. It is the same people anyway. But I'm not keen to go unless you have other opinions. Then they told me, no, you better go. And we're going to give you a very formal letter because we are just misrepresented this and that and the other. So we're going to give you, accept the scholarship, but know that you have a political duty. Yeah. I said, okay. At the end of the conference, I traveled to Tamizani, was the general secretary at the time of SASO. So I traveled with him to Durban for him to give me documents and to write the formal letter, which I still have until today. That's right. So then I didn't have to escape out of the country like so many people did. Well, I did manage to help others escape. So I knew the escape routes, but luckily, luckily I...
problem with your silence at school. It's quite right.
Exactly. You see. No, it worked in my favor because they used to come. I mean, I remember the security police coming to tell me, with a certain Captain McIntyre. They came, we know that you're leaving the country. Really? This is news. I say, no, we know. But I'm telling you, it is news. So, if you know better, let me know. They say, no, we will come again. And I was thinking, shoo, my suitcase was packed at that time when they came. For some reason, they believed me. I said, okay, maybe as far as I know, things are in the pipeline. Nothing is finalized. I knew that I was going to leave on the Wednesday following, and I told them, please come on Saturday. So when they came, the bird was gone. See? And so that's how I got into exile, doing the dual task of political activist and student at the same time. Yeah, well, it was not easy because we worked on the point that we adopt as part of our policy positive neutrality. Yeah. We're not going to be ANC, we are not going to be PAC, we are not going to be any. We are ourselves. We come from the Black Consciousness Movement. So we are not going to, but we need to work together because we have a common enemy. So, well, yes, it was not fun to have said to our colleagues or in Hammanskraal that, you know, I understand that even there where I'm going, the struggle is on because it is fueled by them anyway. Yeah. Whew, it was quite true. Yes. There were some of us who just came, and now there were all kinds of formalities to send them back to Botswana because, so alongside my study, one of my sideline study was international law of refugees. And so I was able to confront a lot of lawyers in Europe, UK, to say, there is such a thing as secondary asylum, this and that and the other. Yeah, you would argue, but you see, it was not fun. Yeah, meantime, I'm a dad of three. You can imagine. Put that together, and then you see that, hey, yeah, it is very heavy. Anyway, things worked as they did, and the original idea was that we would go study for the masters and come back home. And so when I completed the master's in philosophy, it turned out that there were lots of arrests here, especially after 1977, the banning of black consciousness organizations, including the Christian Institute. And so, well, we used to communicate in a way, so I was told, look, please, don't dare to come back. We have piled up so many things on you because we know you're away anyway. So if you come, then you are the first prey of these guys. So please, stay where you are. Don't come. So I didn't, and I changed gear a little bit because of understanding so many things. I decided, okay, I go to study in London at the London School of Economics, where I, among others, you had to take, it was a master's degree in international relations, but compulsory subject was international politics and the concepts and methods of international relations. But coming from here, I could not resist study what was called strategic studies. In continental Europe, this is called polemology, the study of war. But next door, in Connaught at London, they called it by this name, war studies. I mean, coming from here, we are in a state of war. I must really know something about this. And so, yes, in that way, I got also to bother about the arrogance of these people to actually be willing and ready to destroy the whole world just because of their ideologies. So the ideological clash between capitalism and what in those days was communism was such that they were ready, and still are, by the way. It hasn't changed. They are ready to destroy even the smallest ant on this planet just because of that. So I studied that. I had to study Russian, and so I can hear from the horse's mouth what do the Russians think. There was a song, for example, Khatiat Li Ruski Vani. Do the Russians like war? And the answer is niet, niet. You see, but anyway, so there was no way coming from a violent country like this, started on the basis of violence, that I could resist war studies. It was not possible. And so I went back to Louvain after that, and I obtained my doctorate in philosophy precisely on the subject of the ethics of defense in the nuclear age. Because we are not supposed to disappear just because of two strange countries thinking that they are the lord of the planet. I mean, they also did not choose to be here, mind you, where I started. So they have no right at all. By good luck, I was able, after completing, to function as a fellow in the law faculty of Louvain, The center is called Center for the Study of the Foundations of Law. Later on, I went to teach also Rechtsphilosophy, philosophy of law in the Netherlands at Tilburg University. And I was teaching it in both Dutch and English. Yeah, because the English was
quite the linguist.
Yes. In Netherlands, I taught in both Dutch and English. Again, we are not there. This country is called South Africa. It goes by geographic pointers.
Yeah.
Because if you try to call it like Germany, then you would say Germany is a country where Germans live. Now here, who will you say lives? So, you see? So to avoid the question, who is the owner of this country, we must call it by geographic regions, pointers. It is south of Africa. So meaning we found nobody there. You see, so there was nobody, so it is in the south of Africa. Voila. I had acquired a Belgian citizenship. In that way, I have the luck to take the plane anytime I want without a visa. Then I taught in Zimbabwe for 4 years at the University of Zimbabwe. At that time, I had reserved my job in Tilburg. You see, there are nice things that can happen. I said, I'm leaving, but I'm not resigning. You see, so I went to Zimbabwe and then back to Tilburg, and then finally I was asked to come here. And so, what a mess I found. Stated briefly, I do not think what is prevailing now justifies my having gone into exile. Mind you, this is more than 2 decades. That's a long time, being out of your country, and only to find that when you come back to the same situation. You might want to know, why do I say the same situation? One little point. Yeah. As I was studying constitutional law, I noticed that there was a book published in 1960 by eminent jurists of the time, Professor Harlow and Ellison Khan. They were editors, actually. There were lots of contributors, among them a certain Heppel. And he states in black and white that South Africa was constructed upon the right of conquest. Now, this is what I was contesting in my doctoral work, that conquest can never be justification. And we have so many lawyers who should have known or who about this book because they studied law and they studied constitutional law. Many of them you know, right? How come they could compromise on this? You see, this country is constructed upon the right of conquest.
So you suffer from the same disease your friend does. I'm saying you suffer from the same disease your friend does, your friend Mandla. The first thing is you assuming that by studying law they somehow would know that the amount of curiosity and reading you guys do is out of this world, and it's crazy. Especially self-study. So it's not necessarily true, that's one. We actually read prescribed books and not even complete the prescribed book, because if I can pick out what I need to focus on in order to pass, that's enough.
Of course. I couldn't agree better with you. And precisely because of this wrong assumption, which must be correct assumption, because a student without curiosity is not worth the name. A student without attention to what they are studying is not worth. I mean, this is in black and white. I can even tell you right now that in that book, you will find this statement at page 795. I'm very sure. 795. You will find this statement. Now, this is attentive. Not only attentive reading, but critical reading.
Yeah.
You see? So, yes, this is what we should assume of students. And your dad and I are right to assume. Why? Because our experience in community work, when we were conscientizing people, is what led us to exile and to persecution in this country, because people were really critical. And these people were not necessarily in formal education. No, we had old ladies, we had what, but they understood that being a domestic worker does not mean it is my final destiny. I must do something about that.
Yeah.
You see, so now, and we saw them do. So your dad and I are justified by our previous experience. So this is a new breed which
You may be justified, you're just not the norm, is the point that I'm making.
I get you. But you see, you can be sick. You can imagine spending so much time, right? Even before we go into exile. And then coming back, finding the same thing. No, but you see black lawyers thriving, this and that, being told you need a transition from parliamentary sovereignty to constitutional supremacy. Where do you get that from? Really? And when you ask, you're told, oh, you know, it is because of the Harris cases of 1952. How? Mandisa. There was no single black judge in the bench in those cases.
Yeah.
So why should blacks carry the mistakes of whites? Why should we? They are the ones who messed up. They are the ones now they say, you see, you can abuse law, so you need a constitutional. Who abused it? We were not even put to the test to abuse it. Suddenly, because we are always to be tutored, we must do this. We must have now move away from parliament sovereignty to constitutional supremacy. Who tells them that the United Kingdom has a written constitution? As we speak now, the UK has got no written constitution. It is functioning. So, must they claim that we are the people of orality? We speak, which is correct. Everybody speaks first before they learn to read and write. So, the British don't have a written constitution, but they talk the language of constitutional law. So who tells them we need a written constitution? And if we need it, why is the present one totally devoid of the word Ubuntu? The Constitution of 1996, read it 1,000,000 times. You will never find Ubuntu there. So it means Abantu are expelled. And then you adore it. You say our constitution. You stand there, you take the vow. I, as president, take the vow to obey. The vow to what? To which God? You take the vow to which God? How? What? And then you took the vow to really obey and live by the constitution, which does not contain you in any way. You'll never find it. So what, are we crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see.
Just, I want us to be clear here about the point you're making. Granted, there were no black participants in the case.
In the
granted,
Harris cases, yes.
And then granted, there's no Ubuntu in the Constitution.
Yeah.
We are where we are.
Yeah.
What are you saying about what should happen?
You see, one of the mystifying things, I go back to my catechism now. One of the mystifying things is this, that today there's a lot of talk about national dialogue. In the first place, there is no such thing as a South African nation. One. I think Chaplin has got the book on that. The book of Chaplin is on that is by that title. There are no South Africans. So you just pointed out our weakness in reading. So if people were reading, they could know that there are no South Africans and therefore there is no South African nation. So why even use the word national dialogue? Okay, one. Before that time, there is a book published in the 70s by under the auspices of SABA. SABA at that time stood for South Africa Beyond Apartheid. Now, in the 70s, I believe Bobby Godzel is one of the contributors. Okay? Voila. And there's one earlier than that.
Yeah.
Well, later you have now there is this word in the other book. It's a thick book like that. It's called the South Africa, the Dialogue. Now today, we need something that was 40 years ago. 40 years ago. If we were reading, we would know that, hey, these dialogues actually are just another way of sidestepping the fundamental issues. It's just another way of going around. Now the point is, we're not going to go around forever.
But what are those fundamental issues that we
The fundamental issue is the land belongs to those from whom it was taken by force in the name of the right of conquest. Let's settle that first. Then we can welcome you into our land. You see, you don't have to go, but you have to concede that this is not yours. What you take by force can never be yours. Even their own teachers, like Abu Thomas Aquinas, will tell you stories like this. The principle of recoverability in the just war doctrine means exactly what I'm saying. You see, but what contradicts this principle is what you will see in the Voortrekker Monument. If you go to the Voortrekker Monument, you will see, even before you go downstairs to the basement, as you are on the floor, there is a circle in the middle, and when you look below, you see a grave, a cenotaph, an empty grave. On top of that grave is written, Ons vir jou, South Africa. We for you, South Africa. Now, if you complete that statement, where is the completion? The completion is to be found in the stem van South Africa. By the way, the stem van South Africa was in the 1961 Constitution explicitly mentioned as the national anthem. Now, the completion of that statement is this, that we shall die for you, South Africa. So the Voortrekker Monument stands as a kind of war cry in that we will be buried in this empty grave. If anybody wants to take this South Africa, we shall be buried in this empty grave.
Yeah.
That is the vow, not only of Van Riebeeck, but of every successor entitled to Van Riebeeck, including the British and every other. You see? So this is a state of belligerence which must be resolved.
Yeah.
And it cannot be resolved by so-called hot war. It can be resolved by people learning mpela.
Yeah.
Yes, it must be mpela. The trouble with truth is that it will be like the truth, and this is why I don't like this dialogue story. It is like the truth of Macbeth. Because of his ambition, he declares in one of his soliloquies, two truths are told as happy prologues of the swelling act of the imperial theme.
Yeah.
Now, he has already posited two truths, which he doubted but now he has posited them. Finally, he accepts one truth. And because he has accepted one truth, he wants to clear his conscience. And then he comes with another soliloquy. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my deep and dark desires. And this is exactly what the national dialogue of today means.
Yeah.
Let not light see my deep and dark desires. We cannot go on like this.
Yeah.
There must be an end to this.
And what do you see as the end? What needs to happen?
What needs to happen is to ask from the wisdom of our forebear if it really makes sense to see what we see every day and to know what we know every day. What is it that we know? We know that many of us who go to eat in restaurants, most of us will not answer the question if you ask them, how much food did you leave uneaten? Many will not answer because it's the way it is. We just don't care. You see, I want to taste everything, so I leave. The leftovers are there. What happens to the leftovers in one restaurant? Count the many restaurants that we have and see how many tons of food is going to be thrown away per day. Just recently, I was doing that in Brussels and Louvain, walking around restaurants just to see how much food is left by the tables, and it's throw away. And because I come from a continent when people die daily from hunger, this is not easy to take. It's not easy. Right here, in a year or 3 ago, it is so that when you went to the restaurant, to the supermarket, especially towards closing time, perishables, hamburger, this and that, whatever, those were sold at reduced price. After a while, this business stopped. Why? Because people flooded. I used to be one of those who were flooding towards closing time because I knew that, no, the prices will be reduced. Now these people thought, no, we are losing. We are losing. So we stop this. When the food is left over, we take it and have a conversation with our daughters and sons. They will tell you that this food is going to be thrown away. The next day, it will be fresh food that will be thrown away. How many souls would have enjoyed that food. You see, now when I said we go to the wisdom of our forebears, I'm going to tell you in the language of our forebears. In the language of our forebears, Rere, livi talatala, alitijwi. No, nobody ought to die of hunger.
Yeah.
And here is a people used to throwing away food.
Yeah.
Okay? It doesn't stop there, the wisdom of our forebears. No. They also tell us that bana ba motho ba ngwathohana tlhogwana ya chi. I mean, you know the locust. It has a small head, but a big body. Why did our elders not think of the body? It's bigger. You can share that easily. No, they thought of the head of the locust because giving, sharing is more meaningful when you share even the least that you have. It is more meaningful. Okay? Now, these principles, these values of the culture of Ubuntu are in direct contradiction, fundamentally, with those who throw away food in the name of capital. Okay? So, we don't go the route of Professor Sam Peter Blanche. I like his book very much, and I wish at least the first 5 chapters should be prescribed. The history of inequality in South Africa. But his prescription is like the Constitution of 1996.
Yeah.
The book is more than 600 pages, but there is no Ubuntu or Ubuntu in the book. Not a single page. How? And then he prescribes what he calls democratic capitalism. Churchmen, if you go to the same Voortrekker monument, what will you find? Apart from the cenotaph, right at the basement, there are 3 huge Bibles. Each one of them weighs 9 kg. Yeah, we asked, we needed to know. And they are written in Old Dutch. Okay? Meaning that these people have come in the name of Christ, which is what the preamble of the 1961 Constitution affirms, that God gave them this land. Of course, Van Riebeeck didn't bring any land in his 3 ships. Okay. So you see, now, when you look at that, you see, oh, they came in the name of Christianity. And so they came not to share, although they tell us that Christianity is for sharing. To cut a long story short, Pope Francis died less than a year ago, head of one of the big Christian communities in the world. In 2013, when he took over, he released a teaching, an encyclical. Well, they always name them in Latin. It's called Evangelii Gaudium, the good news of the gospel. It's a thick document with many paragraphs. But paragraph 59 is very direct.
Mudim, everything you read, you even go to specific page and paragraph. It's in your head.
Well, my father was a detective.
Okay. Evidence. Yeah, okay.
Right. So what does the Pope say there? Directly. He says this socio-economic system, meaning capitalism, our quote is with, unjust at its root. Nobody in their good mind can say the Pope was un-Christian. Nobody in their good mind can say that the Pope is a dreamer. He doesn't understand zoology or biology. Why? If you plant an apple, you must be more than crazy at harvest time to demand purpose from an apple tree. And so, we must be prepared to make sure that capitalism is away. There is no basis for the idea that capitalism is baptized with a mark of eternity. Even Bertrand Russell says that in his book, Common Sense and Nuclear Weapons, that anyone who understands history can never imagine that actually any human-made political organization is forever. So there is no reason. Now, this is no longer skirting around as if we don't know what should happen. The problem is, are we ready to face the truth? Because those who are not ready are at an advantage. They have the guns, they have the spies, they have this, and they have that. But even if you have that, like the Pope is saying, he said, you know, today that say, hey, Starlink, come. What is Starlink? Hey, you know, he said, you can have the best surveillance under the sun for as long as you operate on a system which is unjust at its roots. Well, injustice will multiply. And it multiplies, we know. I mean, the world population is estimated at 7 billion, okay? But global agricultural production today, at least according to Chomsky and Waterford and FAO, the global agricultural production today is for 10 billion people. What is the craze about either you pay or you die? Why can't people remember that? How? We must ask now, what about the surplus? There are no 3 billion people. And yet there is food stored somewhere for 3 billion people. Instead, out of the 7 billion, more than 2 billion in Africa are starving every day. Yet there is food for 3 billion ready to be eaten. Just because somebody wants money, let me, I don't know if I should call it an end, but let me end with what Chomsky says in their book. In fact, their book is 2 or 3 years old. It is called The Consequences of Capitalism. What they're saying is the madness to pursue profit. They want to describe it as profit über alles. I don't think it is accidental for them to use the German expression über alles. Remember that Chomsky himself is Jewish. So he remembers that the Holocaust was actually fueled by the German war cry, Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles. So he says, if you want another Holocaust, it is going to come because of your commitment to profit über alles. And that's why you will see in some of my writings, I'm saying, well, forget this. Pecunimania, madness about money, is a problem. And it is accompanied by jobomania, jobs, jobs, jobs. By the way, it is seriously unnatural to work for someone, it is definitely natural to work together with someone. And so Litsima
Yeah.
comes better than jobs, jobs, jobs. Now, these are matters on the table. We don't need the dialogue. Our ancestors have told. And I don't think it is accidental that Ubuntu is not in the 1996 Constitution. Because the framers of this Constitution, unlike us, read us.
Yeah.
They read us. So it's a preemptive measure to prevent what must and ought to happen.
Yeah.
And so let us remember the friend of my grandpa, Mpela Mpela. If we can stay on Mpela Mpela, things will come right.
Yeah, no, so
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you the final question.
No problem.
And in addressing it, don't get me into trouble with Kevin. The time issue, please.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a magic wand.
A
magic wand.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're a magician, you're going to go.
I see.
And then you're going to change something significant that's going to deliver the South Africa you want. We already know you would kick out capitalism. We already know you would put Ubuntu in the Constitution for the reasons that you've explained. So we know it's not just the word that you're interested in. We know you wouldn't engage in a national dialogue. Amongst others, for the reasons that you're saying. By the way, we don't have enough time, but I would have loved for you to go into what on earth are you, is this controversy that you're creating about there is no nation? Yeah, but another time. We
Right,
can always
sure.
come back and
Okay.
we can delve into these things deeper.
Yeah.
So, abracadabra. What is the thing you would do with your magic wand to change South Africa to deliver the future you want for us?
Well, since we are in the arena of magic,
Yes.
I also would like to stay there and say that as a magician, I would like to see everybody asleep. And when they wake up, they should say, "Banabamut, bangwatwana tobanaichi." The literal translation is, children of the same family share even the head of a locust.
And can we extend it beyond that? Because you are saying that at the country level, right? And we're talking about South Africa. So when we say children of the same family, we're not just restricting it to your biological family, at least not in terms of...
No. We don't. This is for everyone who is a human being on this planet. It applies to everyone who is a human being on this planet, because it is human beings on this planet who make sure that the surplus food for 3 billion people stays uneaten. And not all of them live in this country. Not all of them. So this message is for them too.
Universal, beyond our borders.
But beyond.
Yeah.
Because you might know, I guess you do, that, the Genome Project, which was in not so long ago, came up also with one most important item in its report. And this item is that, again, you can find part of it in the book by Francis. It's called The Language of God. So, in that book, you will find the statement, at the DNA level, at the DNA level, all human beings are identical. He's an Englishman, he was chair. He knows that there is a difference between identical and the same. And he emphasizes that this is just a semicolon.
Yeah.
And then it follows, human beings are but one family.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That because at the biological level, at the DNA level, we are one. This was a worldwide research program. Because we are one family, then for a long time we have been learning from them. Now they even help us now by this finding that, we work on the extended family, but our family is larger than this.
Perfect.
It's larger than this. And so this proverb applies to them also.
Yeah.
To everyone on this planet. We can't have people dying when there is surplus food for 3 billion.